here today at the Kingdom.
How was your weekend, Zane Johnson?
Good, thank you. How are we going there, guys? Are we live? Yeah,
we're live. Excellent, excellent. We're trying something different today. We've actually turned the camera around.
We have. We've turned the camera around. We're in a different room. We've got some soundproofing. I do sound a little bit snuffly. Sorry about that. Can't do much about that.
Sorry, I've got soundproofing in. Okay, so the camera. So let's talk about it. We are using an iPhone 6 Plus.
Yep.
So last week's recordings, which you can see on our website, www.thekingdom.com.au/podcasts, you can see. Now that was with the other side camera.
Yeah, so
How do you think we describe that, Zane?
I would describe that as the camera in selfie mode.
Selfie mode, okay, yeah, so now we've got the camera.
We've got it in non-selfie mode.
Non-selfie mode for those iPhone 6 Plus listeners out there.
Or watchers.
Okay, now you've got a question, it's a good one, so fire away.
I do. So I'm going to pose a scenario to you today, and my scenario is, as a small business owner,
yes,
I have a marketing campaign that I'm about to run.
Great.
And I have $1,000 to do it.
1,000 plans.
So help me out. Which one am I going to go? Am I going to go down the place an ad in the paper, or am I going to head down the digital track?
Excellent challenge, I like it a lot. So the first thing we want to know is, where is your market? Are you a global business, an international business, interstate, or local? So hypothetically speaking,
Sure.
what do you got for
No,
us?
my business is pretty much focused on the eastern seaboard, including South Australia.
Okay, so you are an interstate business in that basis.
I am an interstate.
Great, because it's important to note it's vastly different. If you're the local fish and chip shop and the local pizza guy, then the business radius of influence is quite different, and so the strategy is completely different. So when you talk about $1,000, what sort of campaign time are you talking?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, fantastic. Okay, so given the amount of money, then the old traditional forms of medium like TV, newspaper, billboard ads are really not going to be possible. Radio, for example, they're averaging at least $3,000 to $5,000 per go.
Okay.
And so from that point of view, you're really looking at digital. And there's a couple of ways to work. The first thing that's really important to note is no matter how much money you have to spend, or no matter how much you're actually going to splash out in your marketing budget, doesn't matter what you do. If your website is poor, then you're effectively pouring petrol into a car with no tyres. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Totally get it.
If you went up to the pump and said, I'd like $1,000 of petrol in my car with no tyres, pretty likely that the person pumping from the valves would say you're a maniac.
Yeah.
Or an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really important, get your website in shape before you spend any marketing dollars, because if you're going to make the effort to do digital marketing, make the effort to get people to come to your website, then it's absolutely critical that something happens at your website level that gives you that magical ROI.
So, question?
Yeah.
Please, question. That would suggest that I should have access to my own website.
Yeah, now this is a huge point you make, Zane. Good question.
Thank
I
you.
noticed that one. That's completely out of left field. And it's very important that you do get control of your website in this day and age. There are plenty of customers out there that we speak to that have got their website in the hands of a mysterious web guy. And that mysterious web guy he's the guy you've got to pay $200 an hour to get access to your website. And that's very 2008, okay? Particularly when you talk about websites like Flash websites, for example, that were really legitimately very difficult to program. But in this day and age, it's all about content, and it's about reacting to your marketplace quickly. And we're about to talk about why that's so important when you talk about the advertising side of things. So a really big tip, homework viewers, is get access to your website so that you can get the changes made and you can get the flexibility you need to be able to respond quickly to today's market. But most importantly, your website has to be good, because there's no point bringing people to your website if it's poor. Now the reason why is, I know you want to ask me this question, ask the question.
Why? Why?
The reason is because at the end of the day, it's Google's job to provide answers to its customers. And its customers are looking for something using their tool.
Yeah.
And so if you don't provide the answer to Google to give to their customers satisfactory, well, the users just go to Google again. And so if they do go to your website expecting the answer to their question and it's not there, or it's poorly presented, or it's hard to navigate, then they're going to go on Google again and they're out of there.
Okay. So I'm making sure my website is all hunky-dory.
Yep.
What does that actually mean?
Good point, okay? If you're going to run a $1,000 campaign, I'd strongly recommend you've got a landing page, some form of page that converts your customer. and you want to actually be able to record that, okay? So ideally, the landing page should have a form, because ideally, when you talk about digital marketing, your email account is really the only thing you own.
Yeah.
Everything else is owned by Facebook, or by Twitter, or by LinkedIn, or Pinterest, or somebody else, and they can do whatever they like. And we discovered this painfully about 3 years ago when Facebook started charging for organic reach. It was otherwise free. So a lot of people spend a lot of effort to get their likes up, and paid a lot of money to get the likes up on their page, and then suddenly Facebook chopped off the ability for us to communicate to those people. So first and foremost, have an action that you get value from. So for example, take the email address is a great way. Now how do you get that? Well, you're not going to have people just give you their email for free. So there needs to be some sort of offer, some sort of offer of value. And so when we talk about inbound marketing, we're looking at an exchange for something of good value. So something you're happy to actually get in exchange for surrendering your email address. And typically that's information.
Okay.
So for example, what are you selling?
I'm so glad you asked. I'm selling a range of children's educational toys.
Fantastic. So a great piece of content, which would be of a premium nature, might be, say, the 20 most asked questions, or the top 20 kids' toys for under 5-year-old development.
Yeah,
Okay, so if I'm a mum or a dad, I'm thinking, what kind of toy can I buy that's going to be fun for my kid at the same time as being good for their educational development?
Sure.
Because they need to become a doctor.
Absolutely.
And all that, to keeping a lifestyle I've become accustomed to. So those educational toys, that guide, I'm happy to say, right, well, here's my email address, I'm happy to get you a guide in exchange.
Okay, so what sort of stuff would I have in that guide? Would I have like the price of the toys that I offer, or would I just have a description and nice pictures of...
Yeah, well, this is where the funnel becomes relevant. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. In fact, we filmed an entire show on this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can check that out on the website, thekingdom.com.au/podcast. There's that website again. So the actual funnel determines what you write. Okay. And so if you're talking primarily about price and you're at the bottom of funnel, then that book, that engagement piece, the premium content would be all about the pricing and the delivery and the freight issues.
Okay.
If it's top of funnel, then you're kind of just introducing your customer to the actual benefit of these products. So it might be the top 20.
Okay.
And you're not really worried about price so much, you're just introducing the concept to the customer.
Okay. So then they would fill their form out, download the ebook, and that would then give me more people in my database.
Correct. You've got the capacity to actually advertise them in the future, but also by having a landing page, then you're going to be able to do a thing called pixel tracking. And this is all as part of our $1,000 spend. So what would I spend the money on? Well, I absolutely would be focused on Facebook at this point in time. When you talk about digital advertising, you can have Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, and you've got Google AdWords, and there's also Instagram and Twitter now, which have the ability to actually reach your customers.
Yeah, okay.
Now, LinkedIn, what's LinkedIn good for? Well, LinkedIn is very good for working with occupations and regions. Okay, so if I want to advertise, say, let's say you're going to advertise to headmasters at schools, probably not your target market.
No, but we do a little of that.
Sure, so if you wanted to go out and talk to those people or have some sort of seminar or activity with the people, then you can search by occupation.
Okay.
And so that's super powerful. If you want to reach occupations and regions, LinkedIn's the one for you.
So I could go school teachers in Mildura.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Cool.
And so, more expensive, $5 to $7 a click. Okay. Very good for B2B.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking about your type of business, then we're very much a B2C play, business to consumer, but it's all people to people. And so at the end of the day, Facebook's super powerful, right? So I would have the advertising absolutely split up into a range of different buckets though. Firstly, you would actually have the general friends of your page, okay? Very important. If you're going to go and try and advertise to the whole world with Facebook, then you're effectively paying for an awful lot of eyeballs. And so what you want to do is reduce the number of people that are actually considering and seeing your ad, and you do this by saying, right, well, I've already got, how many fans on your Facebook page have you got? For example.
Yeah, 7,500.
7,500, that's fantastic. So, of course, you can advertise this to them.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful, because they already know your brand.
Okay, so by doing that, by advertising just to them, am I guaranteed that they're all going to see my ad?
Depends entirely on what you're going to pay for.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you actually, when you're advertising in Facebook, you're buying reach, effectively. Now, the cool thing is that if you're advertising to a specific audience, and in this case, it's the people who are on your Facebook page, then you are, by default, they've actually had some sort of interaction already, so they know who you are. So you're not having to sort of get that first initial conversation done with.
Okay, I'm not asking for a page like.
Correct, yeah. Now, the thing is that what's really a little bit of an unknown feature that's very good is that advertising to friends of your fans. Okay, so they're likely to have similar demographics. So you can think of all the people who are signed up to a page, and then you're actually advertising to their friends. And this is a really strong way to go ahead and expand the reach of your advertising to bring in new people. Because of course the 7,500, they're already there, but we're talking about the extras you can bring into the actual site. And so advertising to their friends, far more powerful than trying to just go ahead and hit all of Mildura, for example, which is going to be expensive.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay. So that's two different ways. What I've worked out is that my my fan base or my customers love Instagram.
Yep.
So how can I advertise to them on Instagram?
The good news is that Facebook bought Instagram. Good if you own Instagram shares, you put a lot of money. But the good news is that Facebook now owns Instagram, and Instagram is now a part of the Facebook advertising engine. So this means that the ad you place on Facebook can also go on Instagram.
Yep.
And so I'm going to flip it back to you now, because I'm definitely not an Instagram expert. So how would that ad appear on Instagram?
Yeah, so it shows up in your feed, and it has a small little blue tag that suggests that it's a sponsored post. Great way of getting further followers on your Instagram account, but it's just such a visual platform, and I find with our products they're so beautifully coloured, and the wood, it's just great for showing them visually on Instagram. Slight negative with Instagram is the call to action. There's only one spot for the call to action, so we need to be really careful that we are always updating the bit.ly in the profile. Otherwise...
Do we have a bit.ly today? Is it up here again?
No, we don't, because we're talking about a scenario that really doesn't sort of fit into one of our areas.
No fault of the data.
No, there will be.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So Instagram's a great visual way of communicating with everybody, and yes, just make sure you have your bit.ly in the profile. No limit though on your blurb. So yeah, you can tell a great story. Limit on hashtags, but not on your blurb.
Okay, so I know you want to ask me the question about boosting posts.
Adam,
Done.
what do you think about boosting posts?
Well, boosting, and this is not scripted, that is actually legitimate. We get it all the time. Should we boost posts? Should you be boosting posts? Now, interestingly enough, it changes all the time on Facebook. We used to not like it very much at all, but now we love it, right? We love it for reasons, because when you boost the post, and we found this out by accident, as you normally do with any of this stuff, you've got to do it by trial. Research. So boosting posts is great because you can tell a longer story. And so when you talk about advertising in the timeline, then you've got limitations on the character count.
Yep.
But when you have a post that you have written up, it could be the link to a blog, it could be half the story, you can actually boost that post. So there is that advantage of being able to give more content. However, you still have the 20% rule applying.
Okay.
Now, we hate the 20% rule, don't we?
We do not like the 20% rule, and for those watching at home, the 20% rule is where your text and your image has to be, 20% of the image has to be text.
Yeah, no more than 20% of your text. So Facebook is trying to prevent people from creating the hideous screen ads that we see on TV. And so I can sort of get it, except when I'm doing it. It's really frustrating because your ad gets rejected if it's got more than 20%. So there is a bit of a game as to how you can get that text on there. But one little way, and so with boosted posts, you will get a rejection still if your image, which is critical, particularly having text on the image, we spoke about that last week, really important. If your image is greater than 20%, it will get rejected. Annoyingly. Okay?
Disappointing.
Yeah. But good news is that Facebook's becoming, or it probably by now in the last 5 weeks or last year, is the world's biggest video platform.
It sure is.
Now YouTube, sure, but we're talking about Facebook interactivity. We've got obviously Facebook Live here.
Great engagement, sharing.
Exactly. Now you can create ads that are video based, and as long as they don't start with text on the front frame, then they get past the 20% rule.
Really?
So this is a far more exciting proposition. So you can create a moving ad, and you can build it, create it, and most importantly, if you don't have text at the front, you get that through. You can put text at the end and it'll work.
That's a hot tip.
Hot tip, straight off the press. Okay, so now, that leads us to App of the Day.
App of the Day.
Animoto. Animoto is App of the Day. Animoto.com. You've had a bit of a look. What do you think?
I have. Really easy to use. Very straightforward.
Yeah, fun.
I probably haven't delved into it as much as you have.
Yes. Well, I came across this after going to social media marketing world in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, and Animoto exhibited there, and curiosity checked it out. So Animoto is, you know, an iMovie.
Yeah.
You know, every time you buy a new Mac, iMovie is different.
Yeah.
And isn't it about time Apple stopped making it different, because we're still loving iMovie HD and iMovie. Yeah.
No reason.
Sorry.
No
So
reason.
that's another post. Anyway, but the thing is, Animoto is in the cloud,
Yep.
and it's really easy to pull together video, music, and photos. Now that's nothing incredibly new, but the big advantage is that it has a built-in library of royalty-free music and video. Okay, now that is a big advantage, because typically Shutterstock you might pay $40 to $50 an image. So Animoto allows you to actually build together your own pictures, text, and video coming from their library, as well as the music that's in their library as well. And so what you end up having is a really simple to use in the cloud production suite that allows you to make short clips, short TV commercials effectively.
Wow.
And it's particularly cool if you go and check out the website, animoto.com, you'll see examples of how people have grabbed their iPhone, cruised around their office or their shop, and made really cool ads. And so this is a terrific app to beat the Facebook 20%.
Okay. So I could just grab a heap of photos and make them into a movie. How long does it have to be?
Well, typically, that's a really interesting question actually, because I don't know the answer to that one, but what I do know is that it takes 3 seconds for a view to be recorded in Facebook.
Okay.
So don't make it 2 seconds.
Good tip.
Make it longer than 3 seconds, right?
Generally, they're about 30 seconds.
Yeah, look, let's learn from the advertising world. Pre-roll's 15 seconds, gets a bit annoying beyond that. But you know, you can throw some stuff together, and whatever really works. Don't try too hard to make an Academy Award. The great thing about Animoto is it comes with a whole bunch of themes already built into it,
Okay.
so you're able to get started really easily. And you press the preview button and say, wow, that's amazing. How did I make that?
Okay. Well, I think we've spent most of my $1,000 so far.
Yeah, so bucket it up.
Yep.
Have trial and error with it, audience remarketing with pixel tracking.
Okay.
Put something towards marketing to the friends of your posts or
Yep.
of your page.
Instagram.
Then Instagram, absolutely. Try some video advertising and just picking on demographic. One of the great things about Facebook advertising now is there's a huge range of ways to actually get it. So you could, for example, get the Facebook administrators. People who are aged between, I'm guessing your demographics are your mums, so we're probably talking 30 to 45.
Yep.
Don't advertise for men, just go with the women. So you can drill down on it. So the key is to make your audience nice and squishy and small.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So if anyone needs any help or has a question about Facebook advertising, the Power Editor or Ads Manager, it's probably best to drop you an email at adam@thekingdom.com.au, because you are pretty much mastering the technique of the Power Editor.
Yes, trial and error Power Editor they call it.
Yeah, but always happy to help out. So if anyone's got any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in again. We had some awesome feedback over the weekend,
Yes.
which is great.
Yep.
Nice to always hear that. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time.
See you later. Bye.